to the point that there's no more redemption, because the abuse that I understood at that time had gone out of control. And she doubled that down by bribing everybody in my household to act against our interests.
Halo Tribuners, kembali dengan On Focus Tribun News bersama saya Apvia Tiokonibili. Tribuners, viral curhatan wanita asal Korea Selatan bernama Amy yang diselingkuhi oleh suaminya Aden Wang dengan pedangdut Tisha Ernie. Melalui video yang dibagikan Amy di media sosialnya, Amy mengunggah sebuah berita yang menunjukkan dirinya menangis histeris di sebuah rumah sakit ketika bayinya yang masih berusia 4 bulan dibawa pergi oleh sang suami dan juga Tisha Ernie. Memilukannya, Tisha dan Aden juga membawa 3 anak Amy lainnya. Saat ini, Amy menegaskan dirinya hanya ingin bersama dengan anak-anaknya dan ia juga sudah rela apabila sang suami menceraikannya dan menikahi Tisha. Amy bersama anak-anak dan mertuanya pindah dari Singapura ke Indonesia pada November 2022 mengikuti Aden yang sudah lebih dulu tinggal di Indonesia pada 2021 terkait dengan pekerjaannya. Dan untuk mengetahui lebih detail masalah ini, saat ini saya sudah tersambung dengan Mr. Aden Wang. Hello, Mr. Aden Wang. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Apia.
Yes, no issue with the voice or the connection. Is it good?
I think it's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Previously, I was also concerned about the incident, Mr. Wang. And here I want to ask several questions related to events that have occurred recently. And first, I want to clarify how it all started. What actually happened? Can you tell us?
Yes, I would like that. First, I would like to say thank you to Indonesians who for the past 24 hours have shown a lot of support for me, but more importantly for my kids, for my family. This is, although they are all words of support, but it's a big thing for us, because 48 hours ago, it seems like the world has forsaken us. My kids were asking, why does the world hate us? What have we done wrong? And I'm grateful for the kind words from people who have started to see my side of the story. And I would like to thank, of course, Avia and Prebu for giving me this opportunity to say my side of the story. Very grateful for that. Well, this is a really long story, and it actually pains me to go public and talk about intimate details. I'm a very private person, but privacy has taken a backseat over the past few weeks. And today I would like to share the truth. And hopefully this will stop the rampage against me and my family, and so that my children can start being safe and live a normal life again. So, look, me and Amy, we were married a long time. For the longest of time, it was okay. It was a good marriage, I must say. Amy have her flaws, I have my flaws, but we all try to make it work. During the COVID period, we were all at home. I like to think that we got a bit closer at that time with the kids among us. So things ain't bad. In 2021, that was really the beginning of all this. Cracks started appearing in our marriage. Amy has known some new people. That was the year that I started working at my previous company that I was fired from a few days ago. Was the regional director, huge responsibility. Let's just say money is not an issue in the family. The kids were in good conditions. Amy, strangely, took our minimum wage job with one of her Korean friends, a gentleman, which I'm not going to give names. Which was very peculiar. I asked her not to do it. Why are you working for minimum wage for this gentleman? It doesn't make sense. You have a business to run, which earns a lot more than minimum wage. She wanted to do it, so I was like, fine, whatever you're happy with. The thing about Amy is Amy has never worked a day in her life. After she graduated, I helped her build her first business, and from then on, it's about having fun with the business. I know it because she gets very stressed when and the hierarchy of work doesn't suit her very well. So for most part of the relationship, I'm the sole breadwinner. Her business is profitable sometimes, but once it hit COVID, it stopped. But to work for minimum wage is strange, but it's about to get stranger. She spends all her time on the work, and she does everything for this guy. To the extent that the kids are neglected, I'm neglected. But we paper through the cracks because it was COVID and I was working from home. So I get to be the father, doing my work, bringing home the bacon. And I get to be the mother, take care of the kids, make sure their education is okay, make sure they're eating right. I cook myself most of the time. And to ensure that the family get through COVID without any psychological damage, because we are all locked at home. It's important that everybody keeps spirits up. But I have talked to AB a ton in 2021. It's a bad look. The way you're helping that person unconditionally, using all your time, neglecting us, even staking your own company's reputation to help him. It's like cheating with extra steps. It's a very bad look for me. Well, she was like, no, we just need to help friends and things. And you know what? I didn't think about it much. Now we go to 2022. I was for project purposes, I need to come to Jakarta to work most part of the year. So about 3 weeks in Jakarta, 1 week in Singapore. So before I left in February, in January, I made provisions for the family to survive without me. First, I had a talk with Amy, and I told Amy, look, I understand that I've been running a household in the past, but you need to step up. Yeah, when I'm in Indonesia, you are the new head of the family here. You need to start looking at the small details, ensuring that your kids are in a good condition, they eat well, they sleep well, they study well. Now, Amy does not like to manage the kids' work, and I understand that. I spend about $2,000 a month, 2,000 a month, getting a tutor to come into my house to teach the kids and manage their education. Amy doesn't cook, she doesn't do housework. I trained the maid out before I left. The maid can cook 80% of the dishes I can cook. And I told my parents, you need to chip in. My parents, old folks, stay with me. And I told my parents, you need to chip in taking care of the kids. Each of you pick a kid. That is your buddy, your responsibility. So I built a system in January 2022. I said, Amy, I know you're still doing minimum wage work, but priority has to be your family. I left in February. The first time I hit Indonesia, I got COVID. I got very sick. I spent 10 to 12 days in the hospital in Jakarta. Then I have long COVID. So I was very sick after COVID, to the point that when I went back to Singapore later in the month, my company commissioned a full body checkup for me. They literally thought I would die. So that was a period of time where I needed my family to take care of me. I was a strong man, but I was weak. I couldn't breathe properly even after COVID has recovered. Yeah, couldn't do my usual jobs. And that was the first major crack in my relationship with Amy. She didn't take care of me. she was still spending all her time working for this gentleman for minimum wage. Even when I am barely home and I am sick on the bed, there was no care. My parents, obviously a bit heartbroken, they told the maid, look, brew some soup for him. You know, he's my son, brew some soup for him. And she stopped the maid from doing it. She told my parents, he's my husband, I'll take care of him, don't interfere. Never drank soup. And I make my first business trip back to Jakarta while I'm still sick. I recovered. I've told Amy that I was very disappointed. It's very hurtful. It felt like I meant nothing to you. So that was the first major crack in our relationship, but that's just between me and her. You know, the kids component hasn't come in yet. We kept things cordial. I tried to make things work. There were times in Jakarta where I got very lonely, very stressed. The deal was difficult to do. I would call Amy and say, fly over, please. I need you. I need to talk. I need to talk things out. It's not something I like to admit in public because the people that I negotiated with are watching this. But that's the fact of life. It is a difficult negotiation and I was stressed and I needed someone. For the entire year I was in Jakarta, Amy has never come once. She turned it down for the most ridiculous reasons. I have dinner set up with this gentleman that I'm helping already. Or I need to help him carry boxes in the warehouse. Or I'm eating with some of the admin clerk in his company. Reasons like this said to me that she cannot come over to Jakarta just to spend some time with me for me to decompress. Indonesia, Jakarta is 1 hour, 15 minutes away from Singapore. So the marriage deteriorated throughout the year. In fact, the only time she came to Jakarta in 2022 was when this gentleman that she's working for minimum wage needed to do a conference and exhibition in Jakarta, but didn't want to pay her proper lodging and flights. So she got me to move my business trip so that she can come over, stay in my hotel room and save him money. That's the only time she came to Jakarta in 2022. I do not do malicious things like hack into phones or record conversations. So I never have definitely proved that she's cheating on me. But I think I can be forgiven to think that something is wrong there. So that's how our relationship deteriorated. But again, this is just me and her. There are two components to a marriage. There is the relationship between the wife and the husband, and the relationship with the kids. I thought me and her, we are almost over. At least she's doing her job as a mother. That was what I thought. By the time in November, when I'm ready to bring the whole family over to Jakarta, I remember I had a conversation with my kids where they just finished their school year, so they all go over to Jakarta end of November in 2022. And when we first arrived and I talked to my children while we were having a cup of tea, I realized that something was very wrong with the kids. My daughter used to be a straight A student, eloquent, brilliant girl. I left for a year, she had straight Ds. And that is me hiring an education manager for the whole year. That cost me a ton of money. My son, older son, sweetest boy in the world. All my friends who come to my house, they look at him. This boy is unbelievable. You know, charisma through the roof. He got into fights in school every few days and has rage and violent tendencies. And my younger son, who turned 5, he's turning 6 this year, couldn't read, couldn't write, couldn't count. And I was appalled. I asked Amy. Amy said, this is normal. Your standards are too high. This is normal. What happened? They said they didn't want to tell me. They're like, oh, it's okay, Dad, it's just okay. So November 2022 is the month where I start notice something might be wrong. Something might be wrong the year that I'm away. And nobody is telling me anything. In December 2022, Amy hacked into my phone while I was sleeping. Yep. And she saw something she doesn't like, and we started fighting. And at that time, he has progressed to having more than one professional boyfriend. There's literally multiple. The one that I've been talking about, the relationship ended because she's no longer in Singapore, but she started another two. And it's the same thing all over again. Spending all the time with them, working for free, working when she's not paid, taking her personal reputation and her profession and the company's reputation on those people's businesses, and to the extent of signing risky and potentially illegal contracts with them. And that sickens me, It's so in January, after all the fights and things, I told her, let's get a divorce. This is January 2023. Let's get a divorce. It's not working out. It's you have neglected me for a while. The relationship between you and me, there's none anymore. You don't care about my health. You don't care about my mental health. And you keep doing these things with these guys who gives a perception that you are cheating on me. And it just hurts me. She didn't want the divorce. The first time I asked her, she went straight to the toilet, took her scissors, and said that I'd rather die than divorce you. She wanted to cut herself. Yeah. And look, I loved her. I loved Amy. I wouldn't have married her if I didn't. We wouldn't be married for so many years if we didn't. And even if my relationship with her has ended, that she has neglected me, and frankly, there's no more love over there. She doesn't want to take care of me. The residual of love is still there. I'm not going to stand there and watch her cut herself. So we moved the conversation away from divorce. I let her cool down for a while. And then in February, I found out she's pregnant. Look.
Okay,
She
Mr.
was on the
Wong,
pill.
you say Amy checked your phone and found out about the message. I heard he found message from Tisha Ernie to you. And what's your relationship with Tisha Ernie?
She is my assistant. She is the one who organized the whole move of my family from Singapore to Jakarta. My family came to Jakarta end of November 2022. In September, she had found 6 schools for my kids. In November, she found me a house, get the cleaners in, get the decor in, so that it's living conditions. On the day that my family came over to Jakarta, she arranged end-to-end transportation. Mind you, I have a very big family. I have 4 kids, 2 old folks, Amy and myself. She arranged multiple Alphats, convoy from the airplane all the way to the car, and got us all the way to a hotel where we rested before we moved into the house. And once we hit the house, she got us a driver, she got us the cars, she got us the maid. She was my PA.
Tisha, not just a personal assistant, more than that, a mistress. How do you think?
The conversation over here is really focused on my kids, and I'll explain to you why. Look, this is a mere distraction, and it's distracting us from what is most important here. We are here today not because of the question you asked. We are here today because my kids have gone through an abuse, which is worsening by the minute. I didn't spend the whole of last week escaping the country in a small car because of allegation of whether I have a mistress or not. I do it because my family is under siege, because I've refused to let my wife, Amy, have access to kids that she abused. So, look, eventually we will have a good explanation for everything that is allegedly pointed at us. But this is not the time.
Okay, and back to viral video, you know about it. And maybe it's netizen angry because you let Tisha hold Amy's baby?
This is a good question. So, what is wrong with that? She's taking care of the baby. She is. The key thing is here. You know, kids, they need to be taken care of. Physically, mentally, and especially for a baby, every needs that she needs. If the mother doesn't want to do it, why am I penalized for getting people to do it? I hired 3 maids to take care of the baby. All of them had carried my baby before. There was a period of time where I got 2 PAs, 1 teacher, and 3 maids in my house just to take care of my kids, including the baby, and to take care of Amy, which I will elaborate a lot more if you allow me to run through the events in 2022. And that will be a lot quicker, I guarantee you that.
The condition of the children right now is good?
No, it's not. Look, I'm sorry, I look unshaven, I'm really tired. It's because the mental trauma to the kids is real. In 2022, after Amy got pregnant in February, at that time, I still didn't know about the abuse. I didn't. The kids wouldn't speak. They wouldn't. And it's only when Amy went to Korea for a month in March that for the first time, the kids and my parents came clean. And they didn't tell me the whole thing, but they told me enough. They told me that, Daddy, when we were not around, Mommy is a different person. She drinks a lot, and she smashed our things, and she beat us, and she shouted at us for long periods of time, for little to no reason. Both my older kids, they both share a room in Singapore. So every night when they sleep, they watch in fear, watching the door flew open, and she will go on rage. And the type of rage that she exhibit, to give you a feeling, if you have seen the hospital video of how she tried to grab my daughter and drag her down the stairs, that gives my daughter nightmares, because it's the exact same rage that she exhibit when she burst into my kids' room. Now, my parents were in the other room. They tried to stop her a few times. She shouted at them, "These are my kids. Get back to your room." My younger son was 3 years old at that time. He was shivering in the room. And none of them dared to tell me. Even when I went home in 2022, remember, 3 weeks Indonesia, 1 week Singapore, they did not tell me about it. And I asked why? Why do you not tell me about it? And they said, look, Dad, we told you some of the smaller things. Like the education manager that I hired at home stopped teaching after I left. Because Mommy is more interested in buying handcraft soap and pastry from her than monitoring what she's doing and teaching us.
Sorry, I want to ask something about the divorce.
Sure. The divorce with her can only be conducted in Singapore because you are married there. I understand that she has been going around saying, just divorce me, you know, and go be with your mistress, divorce me and give me back my kids. That's the narrative. Afia, I had tried to divorce us not less than 10 times in 2023. Not less than 10 times. But in the end, we worked out a civil separation. When things escalated in January, to the point that there's no more redemption, because the abuse that I understood at that time had gone out of control. And she doubled that down by bribing everybody in my household to act against our interests. At that point in time, I told her and I texted her, we'll file for divorce now. Frankly, I don't care even if you threaten to kill yourself. I don't. It's too much. You have crossed the line. I will file you divorce paper. You move out of my apartment. You give me your address. I will serve you papers. And this is an education piece. And I'm saying this in public because it's real and any lawyers can verify this. I need to know where she is to physically file her the papers. What happened after she left the apartment is she ceased contact with me. She refused to tell me where she is. So I'm stuck in a situation where I cannot divorce her because I can't serve her papers. But she knows where I stay. My house address is still there. I'm still in the house. But she never served me papers. Divorce works both ways. I can serve her papers. She can serve me papers.
Okay, Mr. Wong, I know you're not in Indonesia right now, but do you want to meet her and the kids to talk about this problem, or in the future, do you let Amy meet their child?
The time for that has passed, Afia, and I'll tell you why. I've been good to her towards the end. When I knew that she abused my kid, I still let her stay in my main house. Now, I have a wife that keep abusing my kids. A normal person would have said, get the hell out. But she gave birth in the first class suite and I got her an apartment with a lot of help to make sure that she has a second chance. A second chance to take care of the baby. A second chance to be a good mother again. And I told the kids, look, that's still your mother. Go and visit her. I have my assistant over there to look after you and my parents go along sometime. I did whatever I could for her. The children are finally safe now. And what you said is exactly what I'm going to do next.
Okay, the baby too?
The baby doesn't need a psychologist at this point. The baby need proper care physically. Look, until yesterday, I've been silent because my focus is only getting my family out safely. And I want to do it to minimize the trauma of my kids. And I'm telling you, no psychologist is going to be able to help them now because of the continual assault from Amy and her team that continue to traumatize my kids. Afia, you need to understand from my kids' perspective, they have some exposure to this social media. And they are asked,
video, right?
and they are, I mean, everybody has access to social media now, and they are more skilled at it than I am. I'm a dinosaur. But they are asking a very fundamental question. Why is everybody helping mommy
Mr.
abuse
Wong,
us?
Mr. Wong, sorry. I saw the video, your daughter talk about this problem on someone's video on YouTube. You let your kids talk about this.
Afia, let me tell you what happened last Wednesday. Last Wednesday, 6th of March. The hospital attack happened on 1st of March. And you have seen how bad the attack is. It was staged. There was a ton of people she brought. My daughter was attacked. I was attacked. We went home and we never left the house. But we were still harassed. I have people delivering food to me and laundry to me that get stopped by people outside my gate, telling them, hand it over to me, I will bring it in. That is how bad it is, the level of terror inflicted on me. I couldn't leave the country because her lawyer said she has already reported us to immigration. They were going to stop us from leaving.
Yeah,
I have no
that.
idea where she get all this power from, all right? But the entire week, I'm just worried about the safety of my whole family. My parents their passports are not with them because they are cancelling their kitas. So my parents are stuck too. On 6th of March, it got so bad because she has lied and stirred out the emotion of the Indonesians that the whole Indonesians, they are literally death threats coming to us. And we had to flee. On the midnight of 6th of March, me and my kids, we squeezed in a small car. We did a 10-11 hours journey to Surabaya, and we flew out from Surabaya. We changed car twice. No, we changed car once. So we used 2 cars because her people are following me. I'm a Singaporean who is working in Indonesia. I don't know anybody to go help me. The world is against me. I don't know where the attack is coming from. So what I did that day, which is very sad, really, I made everybody in the family record a last testimony for themselves in private. I got my daughter to do it. I got my son to do it. I did one. My parents did one. Because I don't know if we are going to survive that night. I don't. So when I finished the video, I sent to quite a few of my friends. And I told them, if I don't make it, please share this video. Because if all of us perish in this, if someone takes us out on the highway, I'm not going to die with my name smeared. The world needs to know that the abuser of my kids has stirred them out and continue to inflict harm on us. Well, because she knows that I will not retaliate, my focus is on the family, but my priority is on the safety of my family. And that is why the video existed. It was made 1.5 hours before we got into the car and made our escape.
So what legal steps will you take?
I'm getting my legal advisors to handle that. Look, she made a police report about domestic violence. I've never touched her. And you could see where the irony is. She conducted extreme domestic violence for years, and she filed a police report on me or domestic violence. I gotta be honest here. There is no strategy on my part. From the day that she moved out into the apartment, my focus has been getting my kids better. From the day that I knew she bribed all my staff to harm us, my focus is on the safety of my kids.
Okay, that's why you resigned too from CEO of Dubai Port?
I resigned from Dubai Port because Amy, I did not resign, I got terminated, by the way. Amy has gone to all my bosses, spread fake news like she did. She told them a ton of things. And even worse, she tagged my entire company on all my news, giving names and things like that. My company has been really good to me, and I love what I do. I worked hard for it, and we have achieved some great things there. But my personal problem is not my company's problem to bear. I understand why they terminated me. And make no mistake, this is part of the plan from Amy.
This is the last question. Is it true that the accusation that Amy made to you that you had an affair with Tisha when Amy gave birth to her 4th child, and then Tisha with you now in the other country, or no?
Look, me and Amy are separated from May last year. Okay? We are separated. She refused to divorce me. For her to turn around and start talking about affair things is just malicious on her part. Now, the second thing is when she gave birth on 27th October. On 25th October, I found out my daughter engaged in self-harm. My daughter cut herself. I also found out that Amy knew about it a week before, and she didn't tell me. She knew my daughter. I knew my daughter cut herself on the 25th of October. She knew it a week before, on the 18th. The school found out before I did and summoned me to school. 2 days before I went to school, I found out if I didn't, I would look like a horrible father in front of school. And she wanted that. I'm angry that she didn't tell me. What kind of mother does that? But do you know what I'm angrier about? She did not remove the instrument of cuts from my daughter. Do you know how many pen knives my daughter has? She had 8 to 10 pen knives.
Wow.
The stress at home, the abuse had gotten too much. Amy bought her 8 to 10 pen knives without asking. I do not know how to explain that. And I do not know how to explain that despite knowing what happened there, I still gave Amy an apartment to stay in after that and took care of her. And that I regretted. One day my kid is going to ask me, Daddy, when is it enough? You knew that she has abused us. You knew that she didn't care whether I end my life. Why are you still taking care of her? And that leads us to this point today. How many times do you need to see your kids get hurt before you stop feeling anything? I'm regretful. I'm really regretful. Have I given her too many second chances? Have I had blind faith that they will change? She will change. And now I'm on the run with my kids. 4 days ago, we nearly died. And after I go through all this, we travel so lightly that I only have 4 t-shirts and 3 underwears. And for some reason, she and her team have convinced the Indonesians that I am rich and powerful and she is a victim. I have no idea what to do next.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I digress.
Okay, take your time, mister. Okay, and hopefully the situation is getting better and your case will be solved soon. Thank you, Mr. Aden Wang, for your time. I hope everything
Thank you
will be
very
okay,
much.
right?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, mister. Ya, Tribuners, itu dia klarifikasi dari Mr. Aden Wang terkait dengan kasus yang saat ini sedang viral dan semoga mendapatkan pencerahan ya kita dari isu-isu yang saat ini sedang berkembang. Kalau begitu saya Fia Tiokoni Billy pamit undur diri. Sampai jumpa.
I'm regretful. I'm really regretful. Have I given her too many second chances? Have I had blind faith that they will change? She will change. When things escalated in January, to the point that there's no more redemption, because the abuse that I understood at that time had gone out of control, and she doubled that down by bribing everybody in my household to act against our interests.
Halo Tribuners, kembali dengan On Focus Tribun News bersama saya Fia Tiokoni Billy. Tribuners, viral curhatan wanita asal Korea Selatan bernama Amy yang diselingkuhi oleh suami